So here are 10 reasons on why the iPad mini 7 is probably a better device overall than any iPhone out there. So the first thing that comes to mind is going to be the price. You can get this bad boy starting at $500 straight from Apple, which beats any price of any iPhone out there. And also I've seen it on Amazon for as low as $400. So you could potentially get a brand new modern Apple device running iOS for $500, which is basically half the price of an iPhone Pro. When it comes to RAM, this device doesn't disappoint. It has 8 gigs of RAM, the double RAM of the 4 gigs that was found on the previous model. Same thing as a base model iPhone Pro. 8 gigs will give you plenty of years of updates and keep this phone running very, very peppy, very zippy. Closing and opening apps is not going to be a big issue with the apps running in the background, and it future-proofs the device for a lot of updates in the future. Along with the double storage and the double RAM, you're also getting an upgraded chipset, the A17 Pro, which again is just a more powerful chipset than the previous model and basically just translates to better, faster performance. Everything feels snappy. So when you combine the RAM, the storage, and the chipset, it makes it a very powerful overall device and a future-proof device. So that means that you could use this iPad mini 7 for years to come before it ever slows down. So I really do believe the iPad mini 7 is the perfect size tablet for most people. It's a bigger device than any iPhone out there, so it has plenty of canvas space to see and browse your movies, your photos, and your content. But it doesn't feel bulky like an iPad 11-inch, for example. You could hold this device with one hand. It's a very lightweight. It doesn't feel that much heavier than the iPad or the iPhone Plus or Pro Max model. And it's just very, very portable, but you still also have a bigger screen to do everything that you're gonna do on an iPhone. It just feels more comfortably since you have a bigger canvas. So just because this is a tablet, the iPad mini 7 can still be used as an iPhone for calling. You could either just use FaceTime audio, you could forward your calls from your iPhone to the iPad mini and just combine it with any AirPods or Bluetooth headphones, and you could do the same calling capabilities as an iPhone. It could be an iPhone replacement for calls. And just like you could do calls on an iPad mini 7, you could also do texting and messaging. You could use iMessage, obviously. You could use Telegram, for example, if you want to use a third-party app for it. Or you could use Google Voice, for example. The possibilities are endless. You could pretty much do all your calling, all your texting, your video calling on this device just as you would on an iPhone. And if you have the cellular version of this, then you can be portable and do everything that an iPhone can do. And having the ability to have a second device is probably really, really cool. If you pick up an iPad mini 7 for, let's say, $500, and that's going to be your device that you mostly use at home, when you go out, you could still have that iPhone with you, and it doesn't have to be that powerful or that expensive. It could be your backup phone, because when you leave the house, that's where all your drops and it might get stolen, it might get lost, whatever the case is. You don't have to put all your money into that iPhone to do everything. If you're using the iPad mini 7 for $500, you're mostly going to leave it at home. But when you go out, you could use any iPhone, cheaper model, a used model, to take your pictures, do your calling, do your texting, play your games, check your emails, all that good stuff. And then when you get home, you could transfer that stuff via iCloud or AirDrop or whatever and continue using it on your iPad mini once you get home. It's basically what I'm trying to say is that it's nice to have two devices and neither one has to be expensive. The iPad mini 7 can also be a very flexible device because you could also get it in the cellular version, which includes GPS. So this could totally replace your iPhone on the go and also be used as GPS, having a big canvas on your dashboard of your car, for example. And last but not least, you're going to get really great battery life out of your iPad mini 7. and it lasts all day. You don't have to worry about charging it up that often. And the other benefit of having the iPad mini 7 is that while you're using the iPad mini 7, you could charge your iPhone. So it's actually more of a benefit to an iPhone getting the iPad mini 7, because you could use the other device while you charge the other. So it's the best of both worlds. You're basically extending the battery life of your iPhone by getting the iPad mini, and that has better battery life than any iPhone out there, including the Plus models. So all in all, the iPad mini 7 is a really awesome device, and it's getting closer and closer where it could literally be your go-to device instead of going for an iPhone. It is portable, it is lightweight, it does everything an iPhone can do, and you have a bigger canvas, and it's a cheaper device. So it just makes it a really compelling purchase. It probably makes it a better overall device than any iPhone out there.